And now one of my favorite examples from the life of St. Dominic is pictured in one of our windows at our St. Cecilia Mother House Chapel. It is Dominic raising a young man named Napoleon from the dead. And upon hearing about how this young man had fallen off his horse, Dominic rushed out into the streets, picked up the young man and carried him to a nearby house. And then he went back into the church to pray the holy sacrifice of the Mass for this man's soul so that he might live, because his uncle was a cardinal and Dominic was friends with him, and he cared very deeply for this cardinal. After saying Mass devotedly, he went back and prayed with the young man who was already placed in a coffin. After praying for much time silently, Dominic made a huge sign of the cross over his body, stood up and said in a loud voice, "I say to you, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, arise." And Sister Cecilia, who was one of the early nuns that Dominic founded, writes in her account of St. Dominic's life that the young man arose perfectly healthy. Now, we may never be called to raise someone from the dead, but we are called to intercede for others, whether it's for small things or big things. One way that I particularly like to pray for other people is to simply say their name at the end of the day, recall their names to mind, everybody that I've met that day or interacted with, or those my students and my family. And I simply say their name: my Jesus, have mercy on Olive and her family. My Jesus, have mercy on True and his family. And I just call them to mind. I don't have to explain a whole lot of things. The Lord already knows what they need, but he wants to use our prayers and our sacrifices for the salvation of others. Know of my prayers for you. And I ask you to pray for our sisters, because together we can reach eternity that we are made for by the grace of God.